What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Couple Things.
With Shawn and Andrew.
Dating edition.
Wow. That was a strong start, babe. Real attention grabbing.
It's back to the dates.
Again, second try was just as good as the first.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Couple Things.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Shawn. We are talking about our dating journey.
That's right.
What are we on? Episode 4?
This is episode 3, version 2.0. And we're going to tell you how I took Shawn home to meet my parents, spend time with my siblings, all 4 of them.
On technically like the second date.
Yeah. I mean, we got after it pretty hard. We dove right in there. I fell in love. You fell in love. Hearts were flying. Hearts were full.
To summarize, if you guys hadn't caught the first couple episodes of this, basically, I met Andrew's brother in London during the Olympics. We went on our first, quote, blind date in LA.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, I was like, this guy is too good to be true. Quirky, cute. Not sure how this is ever going to work because we live across the country from each other.
So you decided in response to that, don't talk to him for 9 months.
Pretty much. I was figuring out my life. 9 months later, Andrew invites me to Nashville. I say yes. I'm still like, I don't know. We're both juggling options at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
How many options you had at the time, babe? Like 5?
I don't remember. It's all a blur now.
Too many. I get to Nashville, and I fall in love. Literally.
We spent several days here going to the CMA Fest.
Yep.
And it was fantastic. We also, and I just remembered this, just pulled up the picture. We also went to John Butler Trio at the Ryman. That was my first.
Yeah.
That was my first time at the Ryman
Auditorium. It smelled so bad.
John Butler Trio is kind of like a folky band.
People were smoking so much.
If you're listening to this and you're a John Butler Trio fan, and I just misclassified it, please forgive me. But they play. This guy has like long fingernails, shreds the guitar.
What was that big?
The didgeridoo.
Didgeridoo.
Didgeridoo. Yeah. Anyway, I used to have dreadlocks and wear a poncho. I feel like I'm not saying the right words right now.
I don't think that. Didgeridoo.
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 Wait.
What?
Speaking of which.
Yeah.
Now that we got everybody caught up.
Yeah.
I want to use the didgeridoo as a
didgeridoo.
You don't know that that's for sure.
You don't either.
Let's look it up.
It's not didgeridoo.
Let's look it up. Here we go. Didgeridoo. I think it's a didgeridoo.
You're saying it like I'm saying it now.
No. Here we go. You ready? Wait.
Didgeridoo.
That's what I said.
That is not what he said. You said didgeridoo.
Okay. Didgeridoo. Okay,
I said didgeridoo.
Okay. I want to recap our last week since we last jumped on here and recorded an episode. By the way, it seemed like everyone enjoyed our last episode. I enjoyed the last episode. We talked about the gymnastics competition, which it's a rare thing to get Shawn to open up and talk about that stuff. I will say there was a lot of comments. It seemed like most people agreed with you on the Simone issue, which is fine. Okay, it's fine. I get it.
Thank you.
Back to the didgeridoo.
We have great followers. The what, Andrew?
The didgeridoo.
You said didgeridoo again.
I in middle school. Now I don't want to be arrogant and just flaunt my accolades here, but in middle school, I was first chair trumpet. Okay, now listen.
In 8th grade.
I know.
8th grade.
It's a big deal. I know.
How old were you in 8th grade?
I know.
How old were you in 8th grade?
I don't know, 13.
How old are you now?
Did I peak at age 13?
How old are you now?
32, babe.
Mm-hmm.
I was first chair trumpet. I was actually really, really good. I really enjoyed it. In retrospect, I didn't at the time.
I played the oboe. I
had braces, and as soon as I got my braces removed in 8th grade, you use like a mouthpiece with the trumpet. So when I lost my braces, I didn't have the same experience on the mouthpiece. Does that make sense? No, the whole thing was different. So I actually plummeted. I mean, it was one of the greatest falls in middle school band history. The mouthfeel. What was I went from first chair trumpet to I think legitimately last chair within that week.
So what happened
because I
this
lost
week?
My braces. So I've been getting into mariachi music. It is. Is this making sense?
This is literally what I live with.
No, okay. Since the Cinco de Mayo, I've been playing mariachi. Since Cinco de Mayo, I've been listening to mariachi music. I don't know what it is about it, but it makes me feel like I'm on vacation. I don't understand all the words that they're saying, which is also kind of nice. But there's trumpets and guitars. Everyone's really excited. There's one song called Me Gusta Mucho, and that's all they say. Me gusta mucho. And then it just goes like that. And it's like,
are
how
you
can
going to bring this
smile?
story around?
Yes, I'm getting there. So, mariachi music has trumpets and guitars. And I was remembering, like, wow.
I used to be so good at the
trumpet. It brought
trumpet.
me a lot of joy.
Oh, my God.
And so I ordered trumpet. And it just so happened to come in on an evening where Shawn had a really bad migraine. And wind instruments and migraines don't really go.
I almost murdered. That was almost your last day here on Earth.
I'm trying to relearn the trumpet.
We just got done putting the screaming toddlers
I'm
to
glad
bed.
we can laugh about it now.
I came downstairs and I'm cleaning up the kitchen, doing dishes. And I'm not kidding. I saw Andrew go to the front door, pull out a box, open this box, and pull out a freaking trumpet. And I was like this is his last day on Earth. It is his last day. What did he proceed to do?
I learned taps.
Played it.
Yeah.
No, you didn't play taps that first night, Andrew. You played freaking Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Yeah, it was rough.
And I was picturing the different ways that you were going to go to heaven.
Oh, man.
And then what did you do the next morning, babe?
Taught our kids how to blow the
Yeah.
trumpet. And
Why?
I'll tell you what, they are instant. They are such quick learners. I'm proud of them.
Oh, they're going to be first chair.
It's a good discipline. Okay. Also, you never know when someone's gonna say we need someone to play taps, and now they can step up.
I honestly think we might get like a noise ordinance from our neighborhood. You were playing taps.
I did. It's so loud.
You were playing taps so loud at 7 a.m. We don't live, babe, miles apart from our neighbors. We live right next door.
I was thinking about that. It is extremely loud. And it was at 6
I just want to know what Frank and Luis were thinking laying in bed, hearing the frickin' taps.
Yeah, and like an amateur version. There's a lot of raspiness coming from my, because the mouthfeel was all different. So it's been years since I've been playing.
Stop saying the mouthfeel.
It's a real thing. You know what the other thing about trumpet is that I realize I like is we did Boy Scouts, which was another one of those things.
You're still so strong at it too, babe.
No, it was one of those things that I didn't enjoy while I was doing it. But when we were at camp, they woke you up with taps. So it's just nostalgia.
Are you in a midlife crisis?
It is interesting. I feel
that's a yes. That is a yes.
I feel like my primary self-constructed identity is jock, right? Sports. But now that I'm talking about my trumpet playing, my Boy Scout, I'm really my theater career. We haven't even talked about that.
Wow, babe.
Yeah.
I think you're in a midlife crisis.
How was your week though?
Well, my husband bought a trumpet, and I love his passion, but he's not a trumpet player. He might become
you don't
one.
Freaking know.
Take
that back. That's not
you
funny.
were in 8th grade.
You
might become one.
Really good.
You are going to be the newest
19 years
trumpet.
Louis Armstrong. You're
okay.
welcome.
Yes. My week was good. I don't know. We're dealing with probably our first true year of like school's out, summer's in. And I don't know what's been going on with our 2 oldest kids. But like after we had Bear, I felt like the transition was seamless. We didn't have a lot of jealousy. We didn't have a lot of like kids needing more attention, needing their cups filled back up. But there's been something about this first week of summer. Drew and Jet are actual Velcro.
To you?
Yeah.
We've been cuddling with them at night. They've been crying. It's
Dude,
been amazing.
It's been,
yeah.
I mean, it's so sweet, but also part of me is concerned. I'm like, is there something going on? I don't know. But they have been. It's just been like something we've never seen before. This attachment that they're needing so much mama right now, which I've been giving them, which I love. But yeah, it's been interesting. They can barely like go outside and play. It's weird.
I'm usually in the background when they're like, I just want cuddles. I'm like, I am here to give cuddles to kids, and they give me the cold shoulder and go to mom most of the time.
They just need mama right now, and I don't know why. But
tell them about all the hosting we did last weekend.
We hosted a lot. We had friends come in town on Thursday and Friday. We were with them all day.
Did the zoo, did a pool day, trampoline.
Yep. Saturday, you're going to have to help me here. I forgot.
I forget what happened Saturday, too. Who did we host? The Hopkins.
Yeah.
And we made ribeye steaks, and that was amazing.
Yes. We had a big pool day. Sunday after church, we had the Hayes come over. We did another pool day.
Wow. Hold on. Excuse me.
The Johnsons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mom braid. We had the Johnsons come over and did a pool day. And then that night, we went to hibachi, obviously, with the Zimmermans, which was a lot of fun.
Delicious.
Then Monday was Memorial Day. We did the first half of the day. We did a pool party at our house with Mallory and Kyle and the boys. And Sunday. And then that afternoon, we went to the public pool, as Andrew would say.
Yeah.
And stayed there until it was time to go to bed. Jet did his first flip off of a diving board.
Our MO with our kids is to draw a boundary line with which they can play within freely. Anyway, it's been so fun to have the kids around other kids.
Yes.
And just to see how they interact. I feel like I learn about our kids watching them play with new friends, make new friends, see how they do. Jed is super social. Drew is like super social, but she pretends to be shy. It seems like it's fun.
It's been a lot of fun.
It was a good week.
And I'm excited today, after the kids wake up from nap time, we got them go-karts. We're going to try out some new go-karts.
I'm nervous and I'm excited.
Yes. These ones say they're made for 3-year-olds, so I think these will be a lot tamer than the one you bought earlier. That goes like
Made
20 miles an hour. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Where were we? Where'd we leave off? We did the CMA Fest, your first trip to Nashville.
Yes.
And then the second time you came to Nashville, we went to watch John
Which
Butler
was
Trio.
this technical, like, big second date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Went to a concert, went to Loveless Cafe, went rock climbing. Then we drove from Nashville to southern Indiana.
Okay.
Stopped at Mammoth Cave on our way.
Okay.
Which is epic. If you're ever in Kentucky,
beautiful.
You should check it out. Biggest caves in the world. I think that's still true. And then we went to a lake house.
Yes.
We're talking late July 2013.
And this is where I met your family for the first time.
What'd you think?
I was really intimidated. One, I thought your family was incredible. Your dad, your mom. I remember meeting your sister, your little brother. Everybody was amazing. But I was so nervous because I wanted to make a good impression. And I will say this, something I do remember about meeting your family for the first time and all the conversations we had like deep conversations, it was the first time, let me say, like in a relationship of any kind, meeting a family that cared about me as a human immediately. Like there were no questions about gymnastics. It wasn't like, oh, tell me about the Olympics. It wasn't this assumption of the person that they saw on TV. It was like, Shawn, I want to get to know you. Like truly you. And that scared me to death.
What made you feel like they wanted to get to know who you were? And what were the factors that prevented that before? And you think it was that you dated mostly guys from Iowa who grew up around the excitement?
Probably. Yeah. I don't think it was like harmful in other relationships. And I think the families, like, I got to know them on such a personal level. But I remember, I think it was just your dad. He had this quality about him to, like, there was no BS of any kind. Like, when he sat down and talked to you, it's like he was seeing through your soul. And he would just talk. And he would ask such, like, deep questions into who you were. Nothing was superficial. And it was really cool.
It's interesting reflecting on the context in which you met them, where this was not intentional at all. And I'm thankful. But, like, we're at the lake, so there's activities to do. We could go make the fire or go on the boat or kayak, go on the tandem bike ride, which we did, and we almost died. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
We rode from the lake house to IU.
Yeah. That's a long ride.
And we're on a tandem, and we jumped the curb. Remember that?
Yeah. There was...
Oh, my gosh.
The front wheel was off the curb. The back wheel was on the curb.
We're big tandem bike riders in these family. Don't ask me how that came to be. I don't know the backstory.
We have not ridden a tandem bike since.
But we have tandem bikes.
Yes.
No one really has tandem bikes.
Yeah.
My dad used to ride us to school, me and my two older brothers, and we'd race. Each kid, when they had their day, would time them and my dad how long it took them to get to school.
On a tandem.
Anyway, so
what did it feel like pulling up to school on a tandem bike with your dad?
Again, I was embarrassed, but I unloaded my trumpet, got my Boy Scout uniform off. Legitimately, there was a couple times. I loved that my dad didn't care about my embarrassment.
Yeah.
He cared about me so much that he knew my embarrassment had no place. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He cared about our relationship, and he's like, anyway, but I would have him drop us off at the Foursquare court, which was like kind of around the corner, and then walk up because I was embarrassed. Anyway, there was activities for us to do at the lake, as opposed to us just like having this enclosed, kind of isolated experience that it would have been if we went to our house in Indianapolis.
Or gone to like a dinner or like... Yeah.
It was kind of like it allowed us to weave you in there without it being such an intense like limelight on you.
How many girls had you brought to the lake house with your family before?
Not many. There was a group of high school classmates that I took there. But that was like a group, and it wasn't romantic at all. Maybe one.
I'm honored.
So it was special. And I think that's why my parents also knew that, like, this is not frivolous.
I am curious, in your mind, it wasn't like we had been dating for months, and it was like, oh, it's time for you to meet my family. Let's go to the lake house or whatever. It was like second, third date. Let's go to the lake house. My parents are going to be there. What was happening in your mind?
That's a tall task for me to remember that and then also assume that something was going on in my mind, Shawn. I'm not like, I wasn't like...
But you hadn't taken girls there before. Like, how many girls had met your parents or met your family?
2.
So that's a big thing.
2 met my parents, and then probably 1 went to the lake house. So yeah, it's like, yeah, you're in a pretty elite group, and I only married 1. So like, you're doing good.
I am.
What? Our time in Nashville when you came for the CMA Fest was really special, and we left like we always talk about when I first met you in LA. You were stone cold Steve Austin the whole time.
Who's Steve Austin?
You ever watch WWE?
I don't.
Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Don't know who that is.
You know who The Rock is?
Yeah.
He started in WWE.
Sure.
I digress.
Okay.
Stone Cold. You were Stone Cold
Okay.
in LA. But then I saw you transform from cold to like you gave me the smile. Okay. That was progress. And then in Nashville, you were like shy and timid. And over the course of the days, the days that we were together, you opened up. And just the trajectory that I saw that and who I saw you were was so exciting. We always talk about like when you left Nashville, you forgot a shirt. Was that intentional? Don't tell me it was.
I don't think it was intentional at all. I was really bummed. I loved that shirt.
It was a skateboard.
I loved that shirt.
I love that shirt too. And then we ended up getting paint on it. I remember.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, it smelled like Shawn, and I remember it was like folded in the corner, and it made our room smell like Shawn. And then we, like, you know, you listen to songs, you're like, oh my gosh, Young Love.
Mm-hmm.
It was Adele. Love. What is it called now? One of her love songs. It's not Someone Like You.
Love Like You?
No. It's a Bob Dylan remake. Anyway, you listen to that, and I would just listen to that on repeat because you have that excitement of like.
I would listen to Josh Garrels.
Million Miles.
Million Miles.
Great song. Josh Garrels just came out with a new song, which is fantastic as well. And I don't know, like then we exchanged some text messages when we were apart, but probably some of it was just timing of like.
Had we started watching the movies virtually yet?
Yeah.
So Andrew and I did this thing since I was still living in LA. I think by this time I had moved back to Des Moines, Iowa. Andrew's still in Nashville, and we're doing like long distance. So in between my Nashville trips, the first one and the second one, we would do movie dates over Skype at the time.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no, I think
Skype.
you're right. That's crazy.
And we would both watch the same exact movie at the same exact time and leave Skype on. It was really cute.
Part of it too was I'd burn the bridges of the other options that I had. Like literally.
So you were like, crap, now I got to go all in on this shit.
Yeah, it's kind of like a commitment mechanism. Like, all right, we got it. Like, let's make this work.
So you take me to the lake house. We're doing all these activities.
I'm looking at pictures of us shooting the bow and arrow.
Dude, I had the worst luck. It was amazing. It was the most amazing trip. But at the lake house, this first time going there, some of the activities we did, we extracted honey.
Shawn's terrified of bees.
I got stung by a bee twice doing so. We went swimming in the lake. I remember
you wakeboarded. You got up on the wakeboard for the first time.
For the first time.
On your first time trying it. Not a surprise. Because you're so athletic. But
which is cool. I want to do that again.
Wakeboard?
Yeah.
I would love to see you wakeboard.
I would love to do that.
Oh, we canoed?
We canoed. We went on a run around the lake. I remember that.
Built a big fire.
Built a fire. We did, we swam in the lake a lot. And I will never forget, I went running and jumped off the end of the dock.
Dodger.
And Dodger, Andrew's golden retriever. He was the sweetest dog ever. Oh, I loved him. He came sprinting after me, almost to like help me, but jumped directly on top of me and was like swimming. But like at the same time, I was underneath him. So he was like clawing my face. And I had this massive mark across my face. And then you taught me how to shoot a bow. Mm-hmm. But the bow was too big for me.
You were holding it wrong.
Oh.
Yeah, don't blame the bow. It was
so every time I let the bow go, it would snap on my forearm.
Oh, you got wrecked.
My entire forearm turned black and blue.
Yeah, that was tough. What else did we do? You braided my hair because I had long hair.
Yep.
And we also did the tandem bike ride.
Oh, and I also had the mental breakdown around the fire. Talking about social media.
Yeah. Expand more because I still don't understand that.
How many days were we there? 3 days?
This is one of my favorite pictures of us right here.
Same. You drew that for me.
Wow. Where is that?
I have it. So we're sitting around the fire. I think it's the third day at the lake house. I am in deep. I'm in deep. I'm like, oh my gosh. I am in love with this guy. Like head over heels in love. Smitten. And we had kind of been living this like isolated
Do
life.
you remember what that was like when you loved me?
Baby.
I'm kidding.
I'm
Mostly.
still smitten.
We have matured a lot.
But we're sitting around the fire. It's like the third day. I'm with your family. I feel like me and your family is like, we started to like vibe and get comfortable with each other too. And we're like sitting there and I just start having like this, I don't want to say like panic attack, but I start thinking of, this has been so perfect. Like we are off the grid, having a wonderful time. At this point in my life, I was like not working. I wasn't a part of the public eye a lot, but in my mind, in my past, social media and the attention that my career drew would tear down my relationships. And I don't know why, but it would just tear down, kind of like the Simone thing. And I was sitting there with you, smitten. And there was something about you and something about your family that was so incredibly pure, and still is, and just real and beautiful. And I was terrified sitting there with you around the fire that I would be the reason to like taint that or ruin that.
Interesting. I never understood that till just now. Like the toxicity of the drama.
Yes.
Here's the thing though. If you're dramatic, then you get caught up in drama.
For sure.
You know? It's just like in high school, of course there's going to be things that go wrong and people that hurt you and unfortunate events.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a proper way to handle that, and then there's a dramatic way to handle that. And
for sure.
Like, I just feel like my parents are mature.
Mm-hmm.
They raised me to, I don't know, not be dramatic most of the time.
Absolutely. Your family is solid and amazing, but you can see how in that moment I was the outsider. And there was something so beautiful there that I was like, this is real and serious for me between us. If I pursue this, like if I'm like all in, which I wanted to be in that moment, I was like, I want to marry this man. In my mind, I was like, am I going to bring them down? And that terrified me. And I tried to explain that in that moment to Andrew of like, but you don't understand. Like there's this whole other side of my career that you haven't seen. And the Twitter at the time and the comments and the people, they might come after you. And like, I didn't know how to articulate it, but I was so worried of how that life would affect you.
It is funny. Before Shawn, I had no social media.
I'm sorry.
I was anti-social media. I deleted my Facebook in college. And then when my brother met her in London, I formed a Twitter account. And then obviously we spend a lot of time creating content for social media now. So I was pretty naive to that whole thing, which also I still like have a healthy relationship with social media and outsiders' opinions.
Yeah.
I think because my family culture is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, these are the opinions that matter. And the conversations that are started online, like they're worth looking into and filtering. Like, okay, am I out of line here? Do I need to reconsider X, Y, and Z? But it's also new.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thankful that my family raised me as such.
Mm-hmm.
But I appreciate you looking out for our family. And it is interesting with you. I multiple times have seen insecurities or hypotheticals be obstacles to love.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point you just got to like say, all right, we're in it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we're doing it, and allow me to love you fully. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And we're doing that now. I mean, here we are 8 years into marriage. We got 3 kids.
That was wild.
That is crazy. Looking at these little peeps on these pictures.
I just remembered 2 other things from the lake house. I remember one morning or night, we went and took like our own swim in the lake, which was awesome.
Yeah, I remember that too. That was good. What is it about hometown dates that is such a big thing? You know?
I think it's such a raw glimpse into like your personal life that you can't hide anything there. That is like truly you.
It made me think of someone saying it doesn't matter who you've become in life or how old you are. Anytime you're back with your siblings and parents, you're still that same kid that you grew up to be. So I'm still the middle kid.
You are 100%.
The little brother.
100%.
But it follows that logic of like, yeah, you see the roots of where someone came from.
To add in another layer of our dating journey, I think it was around this time. Yep. Andrew's probably one of your closest best friends, but also siblings, is JD.
Mm-hmm.
So in the order, it goes Guy, JD, Andrew, Christine, Grant. So JD, it was around this time that I went to the lake. JD and I started being pen pals. And this scared me to death. It was like, I had heard you talk about him. I had met him briefly at the Indianapolis 500, just literally in passing. But this was like, okay, Shawn. I remember JD sending the first email to me. And he's like, hey, I'm JD, Andrew's best friend and big brother. I want to get to know you. And he would ask me all these questions about Andrew and I and my thoughts and my, like, all of these things. And we went back and forth for months. And it was always just like this check-in. And it felt so intimate in the sense of like family. He was so protective over you. But it also felt like this honor. Like I was truly gaining and working on a dynamic within the family. And it was so cool.
I can take very little credit for our relationship. It's like, you see how my dad being intentional and my brother being intentional gave you...
You were so incredibly intentional.
Yeah, but it gave you signals and reinforcement of like...
For sure.
This is who this guy is. And like, I really am just the beneficiary of so many wonderful people in my life.
Well, and like Katie. So you'll learn about Katie in the next episode.
Yeah.
Who is JD's wife. But it was like this full, I wasn't winning over Andrew. When I decided during the lake house meeting, 3 days, that this was what I was going for. And that sounds weird to say, but like pursuing. It had nothing to do with Andrew anymore. Andrew, you were 100% for me. I was like, yes. Now, once I got past that, if that makes sense, it was about the family.
You still felt welcome though.
Oh, 100%. I felt welcomed. Okay. But I mean this in like a treasured way. How do I say this? It wasn't like a game for me to like get approval from your family. It was truly, I saw how close your entire family was. And if I didn't vibe with any individual person, I was not meant to be in that family.
I really think if any one of my family members sat me down and said, you should not pursue this relationship, for sure, I would have listened to them.
I am a part of this family now, and I can say that with full, I believe that is how our family operates. We still have someone who's working to find a husband. And if every single one of us does not sign off on him, they're not marrying them. It's how our family works.
It made me think of a couple things. One, that feeling of needing to win over my family, I think is like a really good thing that makes you put on your best face, not in like a inauthentic, ingenuine way, but it's like, I think that's important. It's like just how I want to make, I'm beginning to see the value in wanting to preserve the good reputation that I have in your eyes by smelling good, I'm just now coming to this conclusion. Literally, dressing well.
Baby, I think you're the hottest, most amazing, impressive, smart.
But I want to
human,
and I want to preserve that legitimately. So I want to live up to that. You're setting the benchmark at somewhere high that makes me live up to it. Anyway, I think that's an important thing where you felt like you needed to put on your best face for my family, which is a good thing.
Let me say it a different way too, because this is what I just thought of. There was something so special about your family that was different than anybody else's I had been in, because something that I was not used to. At the time, I was 20 years old, 4 years out of the Olympics. My Olympics held so much clout to everyone else in the world. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just like people would I would have walked into a home, and I'm not saying of a relationship, but just in general, and that talent would have bought them 50% in. Does that make sense? So then the other 50% was just a little bit of me. Your family was like, no. Like, it's cool. Throw that away. You are 100% you that you have to earn in here. And I don't mean that they said it wasn't like in a harsh way, but they stripped away everything that I had an idol over. And they're like, we don't care about that. We care about you. And are you someone who fits in our family? And that's what was so scary, but so meaningful, because each individual person in your family took the time, and I had to invest that time to get to know every single individual person on that intimate of a level, to like pass the family vibe check, which I love. It's part of being an East. And I've embraced that now with people who have come into our family since I've been an East. It's like you truly strip it all away. And it's like, if you at your core fit in this family, then you fit in this family. And that took a lot of time. And seeing how JD went about it with the emails and the pen pal, and what are your values and what are your favorite things about Andrew? And I hear he took you to Mammoth Cave, and I got to hear his side. What did you take away from it? And he truly just challenged me on a level that I had never been challenged before. And it just proved to me over and over again how close your family is. My family is.
I think you even met my Uncle Don and Uncle Jim, and Aunt Kathy came over. You're also making me think of the positive definition of pride.
Yeah.
Where it's like I have pride in my family. I'm proud of who my family aims to be.
Mm-hmm.
That we often fall short of. But like, yeah, that vibe makes me really excited about like, man, I am so thankful to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really earn it in any way, but I'm proud of it. I did not earn the family that I was born into. I think I've maybe contributed to the essence of who it is. But
you respected it, and you respect your family, and you are a true part of the East family, and you always were. It wasn't like I'm going to marry her no matter what. I don't care what you guys say. It was truly this like, I'm bringing you to my family. Now we get to see what happens.
I'm interested in this because I'm workshopping this for our book.
I know.
Like the stack of commitments.
Yeah.
And I was committed to my family more than you. Anyway, one kudos to you, of many kudos. We just listed off all the activities that we did. Beekeeping, you were terrified of. Making
Is that where we did the family bike ride around the lake?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was like 20 miles. It's pretty aggressive.
Andrew tells me last thing, and then you can, sorry to interrupt. We're like 2 days into this lake house visit, and I'm getting the vibe that like we roll as a family. We roll deep 100% of the time.
All the time. We do it as a group.
And I was like, maybe I'm not going to get any quality time with him one-on-one, which is totally fine, but like I would really like that. And at one point he asked me, do you want to go on a bike ride? And I'm not kidding. I was very naive. I didn't know I was involved in a cycling family yet. This was new news. I was like, oh, this is so romantic. He wants some quality time with me. We're going to go like strolling, wind in our hair, giggling fest. No. Dad puts on his, what's it called? Singlet.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Everybody in the household gets on their
road bike,
which is a professional bike. I'm given some sort of bike where the gears were broken. And we go on a 20-some mile bike ride up and down some of the hardest hills I've ever biked around the lake. And I
was not happy. But you did it.
I did it.
And it was good bonding with everybody. There's bonding and suffering, you know?
Your mom and dad were on the tandem.
Yeah.
Oh.
To your credit, you rolled with all the punches, which again, it's like you're dating. That's the whole point, is to figure out the vibe.
Yeah.
It's a breadcrumb trail of what's spending time with this person going to be like. Is she going to be open to trying new things? Is she capable of writing and doing athletic stuff, which my family has historically been into? Is she open to learning about the bees or having these discussions?
Sacrificed a lot that week.
You did a great job. And you've continued to live up to who you showed me in dating. I hope I've done the same.
I'm still the roll with the punches girl.
All the time. So that was July 23rd to July 26th. Maybe 3 or 4 nights together in Indy. Our second real time spending time together.
Let's clarify here too. Never staying together. Always in separate rooms.
Yeah.
I roomed with Christine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our third time spending significant time together was in San Diego. So now, I didn't realize this. Nashville first, different city. In Bloomington for the second. San Diego for the third. We really took it.
Well, and kind of technically the first was LA.
Which again, like...
LA, Nashville, Bloomington, San Diego.
You learn something about somebody in a different context.
Uh-huh.
But I'm just thinking about my friends who are like 33 and dating, and they have their career and this personality and like shtick that they've built up that just happens over time. It's not a good or bad thing, but it's like that's the beauty in hometowns, I think, is you see the person with all those accolades or mistakes or career successes or failures stripped away, and it's like, oh, this person is a sweetheart.
You know what's really interesting about what you were just saying, all the different cities? It was a perfect forecast for the rest of our life.
Wow, that's really where we spend all our time.
Well, and just bouncing around.
Oh, yeah.
Rolling with the punches.
Yeah, you learn something about somebody traveling. I love these.
Me too. Wait till you hear about San Diego, guys.
I can't believe we made it. Like there was many different opportunities for me to drop the ball in this dating sequence.
Same.
I'm just saying, it was a lot to throw at you, and you were just like, all right, we're going for it.
I have so many questions about San Diego.
Oh, it's so good. All right, well, stay tuned.
Should I give them the punchline of San Diego?
Sure.
So, third official date. We are technically dating now, I would say.
Yeah.
At the lake house, Andrew invites me to his brother's wedding.
That was that. And then you invited me to Alaska.
I did invite you to Alaska.
All right. We'll end it there. I love you.
I love you.
And I love my family. And I love that you're a part of it. It's like the coolest thing ever.
I love my family too.
Thank you for watching. Let us know your thoughts on me buying a trumpet and how you say didgeridoo. How do you say it?
Didgeridoo.
Thank you. That's all we have. I'm Andrew.
I'm Shawn.
We're the East.